I hear our feedback, but I don't see it on YouTube.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Um,
I hear our feedback, but I don't see it on YouTube.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Um,
I hear our feedback, but I don't see it on YouTube. That's weird. Yeah.
oh, I think I see it.
You do? That's great.
I think I see it.
You do? That's great.
Technical problem.
I think I see it. Benjamin says he doesn't see anything.
It's not still there.
No.
Huh.
Hmm. I don't know what's happening. No. Do you do a custom stream thing? So you have to put in the stream link and the stream code and I don't know.
Yeah, I did all that.
Oh gosh. Do you do a custom stream thing? So you have to put in the Should we just invite the people from there to join us in Zoom?
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. I'm just texting Ben. Do that. Yeah. Let's see. Sure. You have do you have still the link that I sent you? Probably you have. Yeah. You can put it on.
I can put it there.
On the wrong page. That's really weird. So I'm in the wrong page. I don't know. It's streaming in the wrong page.
So which page is it streaming to?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
Oh no, we're live somewhere.
Yeah, we're live somewhere. God. Okay, so actually Ben is Ben copy the link to the chat. So
okay.
Yeah.
The Zoom link?
No, I think this other link that
okay.
Link. I don't know how that happened. That's so weird.
Yeah, that's really, really strange.
Okay. So he's that's weird. I don't know how that happens. Oh, I thought I did everything correct. Well,
oh, it's so finicky live streaming.
Yeah.
So is Ben finding the page?
Yeah, he found the page.
Oh, yay. Oh, I found it.
Found it. Okay.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah, I found it too, actually. Stream went to wrong channel. How does that happen?
We're here if you want to share it.
Oh, great. Thank you.
It's just on another live thing on your YouTube.
Great. Okay, so I think, thank you. Are people moving?
I don't know, actually. No, I think I'm the only person in there.
In the original link, right?
No, in the new link.
Okay, new one that's working.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can also do the chat. I hope so. He said he copied in the. Okay. Sorry, new link. Are there anybody here? Maybe it takes time. Anybody in the new link?
I see one person there.
Okay.
Now I'm the only person left.
Oh.
I don't know what's happening.
I feel like there's another link because we stopped and then we did live stream again.
Yeah.
It's possible that there's another link. 4. Oh, so Emily, you are in the another link.
Whoops.
Because we stopped and
okay.
Yeah.
So okay, I will go to the new link that you sent.
So Ben said there are 2
yeah.
Yeah, he said,
I see it.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Let me figure this out. Okay, probably in the discussion, this link.
Yeah, people are here.
Okay. Yay. Oh, to my wall. Okay. Okay. Just one more thing to take care of, and then we can start.
Sure.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Let's see. Okay, I updated. So now there's new link that actually works.
Perfect.
Yeah, and we can officially start.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Well, family, and sorry about this
No, that's okay.
shared problems.
Happens all the time, I'm sure.
So, well, thank you again. And I think we should share the spam dish first.
Okay. So Umi and I decided that we're gonna make a spam dish today. So I made spam musubi, which is apparently a Hawaiian uh delicacy of sliced spam, kind of like pan fried over some sushi rice. And it's usually wrapped with like seaweed, but I didn't have enough seaweed because my seaweed came from the Korean snack, packet of seaweed, so it wasn't big enough to like wrap all around it. But we make it work with whatever we have. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's okay. But for a weeknight meal, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. So I made, I don't know if you can see it. Um, I made this spicy soup with kimchi and spam and tofu. I put tofu, some spring onions, and jalapeno pepper. So it's very spicy.
Spicy.
Yeah.
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 Nice. Have you had dinner or are we gonna eat on the show?
We could eat. At dinner, I usually have late dinner. So
Mm,
at dinner.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have really busy schedule these days. So
Yeah, it's been actually pretty crazy. So I'm glad that tomorrow at school we have a little break. We have this thing called wellness break, which me and a colleague of mine, Connie, have been, I guess, organizing for the past 2 weeks. And so we're very glad that that's happening tomorrow and Friday and Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to have a little break from the usual teaching and rehearsing and learning and just enjoy ourselves for 2 days. So that's
yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's nice.
Mhm.
Relax, finally. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we start with dishes and food. So I wanted to always ask you about this, that you are such a Renaissance artist and can do everything. You compose and you play bass and you draw, paint, and you cook and gardening. And I mean, it's like so many things that you do, and you do it so well, and especially the food and cooking seems to be an important part of your life.
Mm-hmm.
There must be some kind of connection between what's happening in the kitchen and your music, and
Mm-hmm.
that you're this very creative project that you did over the summer, and I think it still goes on with your colleagues' music and your cooking. Um, I thought that was really interesting, and I today I watched the latest one, that's kimchi quesadilla, right?
Yeah, that's actually the first one.
Oh, that's the
That's
first.
the first one. So maybe you watched it in the order that I uploaded it.
I see.
Yeah, yeah. But it's always been fun. I think food has been a big part of my life because I think coming from Singapore where we have all sorts of different foods at our fingertips. We're very blessed that we can just get cheap food, delicious food wherever we are. But then when I moved to the US, it was a complete different landscape for food. And, like it seemed like nobody cares about what they eat. And also the variety of food was maybe not quite as wide, I feel, in certain parts of the US that I've lived in. So I think, I had to learn how to cook to survive, firstly. And then the more you cook, the more you want to get better at what you do. And because of that, I just like started experimenting a lot with food, and I'm very interested in how to put things together, experimenting with recipes and stuff like that. So yeah, I think food is very important, as are a lot of other things in my life. Like you said, I paint, I draw, um, I think at the end of the day, it's just, as a human being, you cannot only be a very single faceted human. To me, that doesn't seem very interesting. It also doesn't seem very fulfilling. And if I were to be a creative human being or a musician, I think I need to live a very large and wide variety of lives, so that my music would be as interesting as my life. If not, I'll just be writing the same old thing, inspired by the same old thing. And I don't think it's very fulfilling as a creative person and an artist. So, yeah, I like to just do things.
Interesting. Yeah.
Hmm.
Can we actually watch that kimchi quesadilla a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I'll share screen, and yeah, whoever's watching, let me know what you think. So kimchi quesadilla is actually this little project that I did during quarantine because I was bored, and wanted to take works of my colleagues that may be a little less heard and combine it with sounds of foods. So in this one, I took Jennifer Jolly's orchestral piece from a reading and smashed together this recipe for kimchi quesadilla that I put together. And I realized that my microwave sounded very much like the orchestra uh, in her recording. So I'm going to play this and see what you guys think. All right, here goes.
The first time is like a billion years.
Ah.
Oh, you're recording. Is this just a test?
No, this is it. Yep, that happened. So, yeah, things you do when you're bored at home during quarantine. I thought, I mean, I don't think it's the greatest piece of art ever, but it was fun to do. And at the same time, interesting to realize that your microwave sounds like an orchestra. Because I think this, that's what my microwave sounds like when it beeps as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was so fun to watch. And I realized, um, all these things we do in the kitchen, putting out knife and chopping something and boiling or uh, frying something, that I didn't realize it could be so dramatic. 'Cause with
Mhm.
it's, um, it was before that it was just mundane thing, but with music it seems everything has this meaning and everything has drama. So
Right. Especially in the kitchen, like there's so many interesting sounds you can get in the kitchen. Washing dishes, where the water falls makes a different sound. Chopping board, depending on what kind of chopping board you have, wooden board or melamine board, or some people use glass chopping boards, which I don't ever use. But all these things have different sounds. The frying has a different sound. How you bread the thing has a different sound. So there's so many relationships between sounds and what we eat. I guess for me, because I spend a lot of my time in the kitchen too, playing and developing interesting weird foods. So, yeah, but there's so many. I guess copying what you said, mundane things in life that if you take a closer look at it, it actually is really, really interesting. It's just that we don't really have the time to, appreciate the, I guess, day to day living. And once you do, you realize that there's actually a lot of beauty in just the day to day, everyday things. So, yeah.
that's true. And also it's about cooking is about timing too. It's about,
Hmm.
how long you boil one thing, or how long you have to wait. Um, and that's like music too, because music is also about time. So
Yeah, that's true. Both of them are temporal arts. It would be super cool if we could do a live music show with food or while cooking. And then at the end of the show, we get to eat all the food.
right.
Yeah.
That would be so cool. But
Hmm.
um, did you realize about this? About about the routine or ordinary life and finding beauty in there. Did you think about that even before this pandemic? And
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, yes, I did. And again, it was related to food. Like for many, many years, I was very interested in the sounds of hawker centers. So in Singapore, most of our food comes from hawker centers that is like a food court here, except each store really only sells one thing. And that person selling that one thing has been doing that same thing for 20, 30, 40 years, selling the same one dish from that same one store for basically sometimes their entire lives. And I feel like it's such an underrated food. I also feel it's such an underrated experience to eat there. And I've always been fascinated by just the community of sounds that we can get from that hawker center place, because there's the sound of cooking the food, there's the sound of eating the food, and then there's the sound of just everyday banter that you get from community people hanging at these places, eating, socializing. And so I've actually written several other pieces that has used this idea about food sounds. And one of them is actually my orchestral work called Tia. And, Tiak is in Teochew to eat, right? So yeah, I've stolen sounds here and there before, and also have written food, I guess, musical recipes where I take a recipe and then expound on it musically. So there's a series of works that I've written, and they are called homemade recipes. So there's a piece for choral choir called Chakwe, and there's a like easy wind ensemble piece called Nasi Ulam. So all these are based on like recipes of foods that we can get in Singapore and the surrounding areas. So yeah, food and music has been quite my thing, but never in this format of a YouTube video of a GoPro stuck on my head. And so I thought that was an interesting new step and something that I could do all on my own since we were all stuck at home and we can't, go out and do other things. So yeah, it was a fun little project and I really enjoyed it. I will probably continue doing it. But maybe not as often because now, school's back in session. I'm busier again. Concerts are coming back and stuff like that. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, speaking of the same finding beauty in little things, that I also, one of probably my favorite piece of yours is the emoticons.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really such an innovative idea, and but it's dramatic. So that was one thing that I liked about your work, is that it's actually emotionally it's very intense, and that's how I felt when I played Saturation Temp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're the second person that I guess told me that emojicon seems like a very, silly idea because you're writing pieces based on emojis and people think of emojis as these like, I don't know, little icons that show you emotions. Um, and it's very funny because no one really takes those really seriously. Like you wouldn't put it on a serious email, for example. And that to take something as silly as an emojicon and make a serious work out of it is unexpected. So I think a lot of times, I mean, I've only seen emojicons performed live once, but I know it's been performed so many times. And I think for the most part, that's what Departure Duo has told me of the responses to that piece is people are always surprised that it's a serious piece of music on a very not serious subject matter. Yeah. So I don't know. I like that piece a lot, actually. I wish I could sing it and play bass at the same time because it's for soprano and double bass. But it's really impossible to do.
It just seems a lot. It's very demanding for the singer, particularly. I think.
Yeah. I mean, for the bass player too, is not an easy bass piece, but for the singer, it is really quite difficult. And also because I included one of the vocal techniques that is not common, and I don't know other people who do it, but I've been doing this technique since I was young, and it's this. And I didn't know how to describe it, so I had to like take a video of myself doing it and send it to Nina, who then figured out how to do it. But anyways, should we listen to the piece? Okay. Well, here's emojicons. Yeah, so that was emoji cons. Four movements, and each movement was based on a emoji. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I think they played, Departure Duo. They're amazing. We actually over quarantine just worked out a critical edition of this piece so that other people can play it as well. Um, yeah, so hopefully that will be out soon. Working on it.
Yeah, I was wondering how it was notated and what how it would look like on the score.
Hmm. It
How,
doesn't actually look that different from normal music. It's just that there are a lot of note heads for the bass player. And then the instructions of what each note head means is quite long. So yeah, but other than that, I think everything that is in this piece is not stuff that we haven't heard before. It's just all put together in one piece. So
was the were the performers taking some liberty, or they were very sincere to the music? Were there some kind of freedom? Was there freedom?
Yeah, I think for the most part they were very, accurate to what the score asked for. I think the only thing that Eddie, who plays the bass, changed was that I had some finger taps in the bass part, and I had it over two hands, so that it could, so that when you play it down, you can hold on. But he could just do it all in one hand, so he did it all in one hand. But for me, I couldn't. I had to use two hands, so I wrote it in the score to have two hands, but now it's changed so that one could do it in just one hand. I think that was mainly the biggest difference. And of with the harmonics in the bass, there were some um, that he had better fingerings for, and part of it's also because he has larger hands than I do. So some fingerings work better for him, not so much for me. But the overall, I guess, sonic effect of the piece is very, very accurate.
Yeah, it was also interesting for me when I got the Saturation Temp, that there are three kinds of freedom that I should take. And um, I think I can probably share, um, not this, sorry,
That's me.
I have now their score.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, and it was, I thought that you managed to meant this to be free,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of timing, and the length of the whole notes actually. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, but it puzzled me a little bit, um, in the beginning, that uncomfortably free, and
Mm-hmm.
then there's fondly free,
Yeah.
and there is bitingly free. So
Mm-hmm.
there's different kind of free or freedom. So I decided not to ask exactly what to do with this, because I thought, well, I should figure that out myself. But yeah, what did you think of this, when and it's, I mean, I thought it's very specific.
Mm-hmm.
It's be uncomfortably free and fondly free and bitingly free. So
Mm-hmm. Right. So the saturation temp piece is actually a commentary on today's society, I guess, and how we're so used to nonsense that no matter what more nonsense you add to our lives, that no one's gonna explode anymore because our limits have been pushed and pushed and pushed again. Um, that we basically just swallow whatever is given to us. And so the three different kinds of freedoms is somewhat like a reminder that even though you think you're free, you're not actually that free, because there's this word in front of the word free that changes how you think about the word free, which means you don't actually have a choice, even though it's supposed to be free. So I don't know. I like to play with words a lot. And with a lot of my titles, there's just, symbols here and there and stuff like that, just so to obscure the meaning of the word. And I think in this piece, giving you three different kinds of freedoms is about that as well. Giving you the option to think that you're free, but actually you're not very that free, since there is another modifier word in front of the word free that you have to, I guess, respect as a performer, right? So yeah, again, another play of words.
Cool. Um, yeah. Um, well, also it was I thought I mean I felt it's was very intense um, piece, and
Hmm.
I heard your Memento Mori before,
Yes.
which also is intense and dark piece, but I think there's the piece has I felt like the piece had more space. Um,
Hmm.
this one just seems very intense, although there's this fondly free section,
Hmm.
but it was very driving and very intense.
Right. Like, for example, the fondly free section that you were just talking about has a melody, right? There's a melodic line for the first time in the entire piece, but the melodicness of that line is kind of obscured by it being not played on the piano, which is a more fixed pitch instrument. It's played on the melodica or the recorder keyboard, which pitch is not very stable. It's also in a ridiculously high register that is almost painful for your ear to listen to, right? It's loud, it's high pitched, it's just piercing. Yet at the same time, it needs to be free. So I thought that was really interesting. Also, the melodica sounds an octave higher than it's written, so it's actually really quite high, right? I'm sorry for your ears when you were practicing this, and also for your breath, because I remember when I first sent you the score and you were practicing it, that you had to stop practicing after, I think, letter B or something, because it was just so tiring for you to be blowing the melodica all the time. So that's another level of discomfort, I guess, for this piece. And that discomfort is so in your face in this piece because I don't know, I just felt like writing a piece that is just unabashedly angry and pissed off at the world.
No, it worked. I think I didn't tell you about this, but when I was rehearsing the piece, and I think I had the window open a little bit, and I have ducks now. Everybody knows that I
Yes.
duck.
Yes, you have ducks.
Yeah, and I played your piece, and I could see that they're just running away from my porch. They usually hang out there, so they were pretty shocked, I think.
I feel very honored that ducks have responded to my music. So that's a good feeling.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's actually the fondly free part that I enjoyed. I mean, I enjoyed the entire piece, but I really really enjoyed playing it. Um,
Mhm.
and actually, when you play single notes, not no more than two notes, um, you could actually last with your breath for quite a long time. So
Mhm.
I could do bending, and that was really fun. But the sound itself was very very piercing.
Mhm.
But also, for as a performer, um, it was kind of liberating to play something that's really intense and that just you know, you can just put all of yourself into the piece, and you know, there's this excuse that you're playing a piece. You
Right.
could be you could be angry, and you don't have to apologize for your anger. So in a way, it was very, in a strange way, I guess it was very relieving and liberating. It's just like,
yeah, I think when I was writing this piece, it was mid to late July, maybe, right? And if we remember mid to late July 2020, that was the peak of everything, or at least the peak of everything until now. Hopefully there wouldn't be another peak, but like I just was so angry that, you know, what we thought was bad could become even worse, and it was getting worse every single day. And I just didn't know what to do. So I just wrote a piece that was just about trying to be angry and letting off steam, I guess. And for you, it's just letting off breaths, because there's just, you know, this piece, I don't know how you do it without hyperventilating, but like it asks a lot of you as a performer. Not only just, you know, keyboard prowess and everything, it's just as a human being, the breath that you breathe, you need to expel all of it into this piece, because that's what the piece asks for. Each whole note is as long as you can hold it for. So it's not just it's not just a limited amount of time. It's a limited amount of time based on you as a human being. And I thought, you know, that would be a good way to push performers as musicians and also as human beings, because your breath is what keeps you alive, and your breath is what you need to expel for this piece. I thought that was a cool idea. I'm sorry for making, you know, you work so hard for this piece, but I love the piece. I think at the end of the day, I think it was totally worth it.
Yeah, for sure it was. And I just really loved that, doing all that. And again, that it just emotionally felt really great actually playing. After it was very exhausting, but it was just so fulfilling and satisfying to play the piece. And also I thought, you know, your piece, I didn't listen to all of your piece. But some of the pieces I heard that it usually has very nice, this, you know, atmospheric ending, usually very soft ending. And this one is not, it's just like screams out. And I thought that was so cool too.
Right. Yeah. There's highs and there's lows. So right, this one was just, it had to be an explosive end. Actually, we haven't played the piece yet. Should we play the piece?
You should play.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna play the piece. And this is Eunmi performing it live on YouTube too, a few weeks ago, September 25th. So here we go. This is Saturation Temp. Yeah. I don't know how you feel watching it as the performer who is no longer playing this, but man, that was exhausting, right?
Yeah, it was exhausting. Yeah, I mean, I felt like, at the end that when I blow, um, I felt like I'm just screaming, and I, of course, physically it's hard, but
Mm-hmm.
you feel like sometimes you really want to scream, like you just want to explode, and we can't really do that.
Right. Well, actually, for me, that last part, it felt like you scream and scream and scream and scream until you actually don't have any voice left to scream even more, but you're still trying to like scream. And I don't know, just such a beautiful, you know, just such a beautiful ending to the piece. I'm sorry it had to be the last piece because I don't know what kind of piece would follow after this, but yeah. Thank you so much. It was amazing performance.
Thank you. No, and it was, it was perfect to put it towards the end because we had the La Monteon's piece to close
Mhm.
out. But yeah, I just checked out your earlier piano piece because we talked about it a little bit about, how what it's like to compose for piano. Um,
Right.
and then your solo piano piece in 2008.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I thought, well, this is, and the Saturation Temp, 12 years, 12
Mm.
years apart. and
Yeah, yeah.
and it's a, I don't know, different concept, different. I thought it was just, it sounded very different to me, at least.
Oh yes, I think it's totally different. I think even that piece at that time in 2008 was different. It was a I don't know, outlier in a way cuz I don't know if I've ever told you this, but like I really don't like the piano as an instrument. It's extremely scary. It brings back childhood nightmares for me because I used to play piano. I mean, I have a piano here which I use for teaching and I still play piano, but I used to only be able to play piano. It was my only instrument for the longest time. And I had a really abusive teacher who would, I don't know, slam the lid of the piano onto your fingers when you don't practice. And I never practiced because I hated it. It's just like this cycle that perpetuates, right? You don't want to practice because your teacher says you're bad. Then you don't practice and you are abused. And then because you're abused, you have this trauma of the instrument. You don't want to practice. And it's just this, never ending cycle. So, as a child, the piano was this scary instrument for me. And I think I wrote the piece that you're talking about, 2008, Si Falor Sum, because I wanted to get over some of this, trauma of writing for piano. I don't think I ever did, and because of that, I just feel a little bit uncomfortable writing for piano. And I've only written one other piano piece since then, which is a piece I wrote in 2018, and it was only a 1 minute piece. So I felt like, okay, maybe I could do this. So I did it, and I like that piece even more. It's going to actually be performed soon in November, right? But because your piece is a piece for piano that is not very in tune, which is one of the things I don't like about the piano, that is too in tune, equal temperament tune. Um, I felt better about it. And then by adding another keyboard instrument that doesn't sound or feel like a keyboard instrument, I felt really safe to explore outside of just typical piano writing or sounds. So I'm still working on piano, and I will still work on piano for as long as I am a composer, because it's one of these fears that I never really got over. And I feel like I need to do it eventually. So yeah, it's a very, very different piece, and from a very, very different time too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, a lot of people think of piano certain way, and they usually get this tuned, beautiful sounding instrument.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, also, I don't consider, although I'm a pianist, I don't consider piano as a beautiful instrument. It's very bland, as you talked about that, how it's very tuned.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, um, we don't really actually get many colors. The piano sounds exactly same from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there are a lot of things I feel like I do is um, kind of tweaking things here and there, so I can make this illusion that, oh, it sounds more connected. It sounds there, some colors there, but otherwise it's a very kind of plain instrument. I shouldn't say that maybe, but that's how I feel. And I mean, it was really cool experience for me to have this do this project because um, it gives you different concept about the sound, that
Mm-hmm.
what's the acceptable sound and what is beautiful sound, that how would you define beauty
Mm-hmm.
in the sound, and you can't really get something new. I mean, you still can get new things, but you can get um something completely new. You can't really get beauty out of tune piano if you
Mm-hmm.
play, like I don't know, Brahms on piano, or Rachmaninoff preludes. I mean, they will. If you're a good pianist, it will sound still good, but it won't sound as beautiful as you play on beautifully tuned and voiced Steinway.
Mm-hmm.
So this was definitely really fun, interesting project for me because it gives you new sound.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I would love to write a piece for a piano that someone's going to throw away, for example. Like that, I think was really, really fun. Asking me to write a piece for a perfectly tuned piano, keys only in a traditional way, I think it's just so scary and also so limiting, at least now. That's how I feel. Maybe one day I will write a piano piece for just piano. But right now, I think there's so many other cool instruments and combinations of instruments and non instruments that I can think of that I don't know. I just don't really feel like I need to write a piece for piano.
Yeah, I understand that. I'll keep my piano out of tune all the time and just wait for it until it's just completely junk, or I think I just need to wait just a few more years and it's almost getting there.
Hmm. I mean, that would be lovely, just keep a piano for just toying around and playing for the sake of just having a piano that is out of tune and maybe even on its way out. Like, imagine all the sounds you can get from that. There's just a lot of possibilities there, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah, I mean, I think we had enough time that it's
Mhm.
like an hour, so we can wrap this up. But thank you.
No, thank you. Thanks for starting from the reverse order so that I get to go first.
Yeah, no, I thought I would, I would turn things around a little bit.
So I guess who's next? Tyler? Is Tyler next?
Yeah, Tyler is
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to the rest of these. I'm sure it's all going to be illuminating in many different ways.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And thanks so much for all you do for composers, and new music. I think it's so important to continue commissioning composers and to continue just letting people write whatever we want to write and championing it no matter what it is. Because I think when you commission 6 composers, you really had no idea what you were going to get. And I'm sure maybe some of the pieces were like shocking or surprising to you, but it really takes, bravery and courage to just like go for it. And I think that's what you do all the time. For example, like this, you sent an email 2 days ago. It's like, hey, I want to do this. And I was like, perfect, let's just do it because we're all doers here. So yeah, thanks so much for being a doer and influencing a whole new generation of other doers. I really appreciate that energy that you have that spills out from you and infects other people. I think it's so beautiful to have you in this world. So thank you so much, Yumi.
Well, thank you. Thank you for writing amazing music and keep writing it. And yep.
I will. Yeah. All
Hey,
right. I think we can say goodbye.
yeah. Good night,
Good
everybody.
night, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.